Top of the evening, everybody. Alan with D9J Sports. We're right back at it with another show. Before we start today's show, I want to thank all the people who are subscribing to the channel. For those of you who are not subscribed to the channel, I know that you're going to do so. Once again, I will remain patient. So let's keep this thing going. Once again, hit the like and subscribe button. Like and subscribe button. Let's get that algorithm going, and we can get more people in here to watch the videos. So let's take a look back. We're going to take a look back at the Jasper Bulldogs taking on the Beaumont United Timberwolves, and then we're going to take a brief a look forward to the Jasper Bulldogs as they get ready to travel up north a little bit to take on the Carthage Bulldogs in Carthage, Texas. So the Jasper Bulldogs go down Friday night to Beaumont and took on the Beaumont United Timberwolves, and they took it on the chin. They lost the game by a score of 14-10. Both teams played hard. I will say that, and it was one of those games where you didn't really know who was going to be to win the game until close to the end of the game, and Beaumont United was able to get a deep pass, and caught it and ran it for a touchdown. The Jasper Bulldogs had their opportunities, but they couldn't get it done. They just couldn't get it done, and they fell short. And they do have a big game coming up, like I said earlier, against the Carthage Bulldogs. So as we take a look back at the game, one thing that stood out for me was the trenches. I watched the trenches pretty much the whole game just to see what was going to be happening, to see how we could handle those big guys up front. And I'm here to tell you that we really didn't do a good job. We really didn't do a good job of holding those young men off. Also, as I stated earlier, at the crunch time of the game, when we attempted to run the football, we were not able to run the football, and that came back to bite us in a time where we definitely needed to be able to run the football. Also, another thing that stood out, of course, when we did get some good plays on defense, we ended up getting some 15-yard penalties that cost us in a time that we really didn't need that to happen. So Beaumont United, now they move on to 2-2, and the Jasper Bulldogs, they fall down. They're 2-2, and both will be facing one more team before they take on their district run. Now, as I look back at the Jasper Bulldogs, defensively, I think that they played a pretty good game. They didn't really give up 14 points, and they gave up that one shot play. So I would tell Coach Malcolm, continue to grind, and you guys held in against a bigger school. Offensively, there are some glaring holes that, in 4 games we were able to cover it up a little bit with the big plays that we got against Palestine and Lumberton. But the same thing happened when we play a team with some speed and a team that got with us and hit us in the mouth. It was the same old ugly thing that reared its head as it did against Chapel Hill. So Jasper Bulldogs offense, we've got to establish a true running game, Coach. You're going to have to establish a true running game, because if you don't have a true running game, you're not going to be able to continue to put the football up. And if all you're doing is throwing deep passes or trying to get some passes across the middle, that's not going to work, because your offensive line is eventually going to turn into a finesse offensive line, and that's not going to work. Definitely moving forward, because we've got a really big-time game coming up against the Carthage Bulldogs, and it will be our last preseason game before we get into district play. So, not where you start, where you finish at. So, right now we've got this one game left, and let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about the Carthage Bulldogs. So, everybody that's from Texas, or pretty much anywhere, high school football in the state of Texas, and you know who the Carthage Bulldogs are. Yep, they are a powerhouse, or as many call, they are a dynasty. And they're one of those teams that they've got a lot of players, and they play physical football. They play finesse football. However you want to play, they can play that way. Now, they took one on the chin, and it's kind of unusual for them to lose early in the season with the Kilgore Bulldogs. They were ready for them, and they were able to squeak a win out against the Carthage Bulldogs. But Carthage Bulldogs came back last week. They played a formidable foe, Chapel Hill, a team that the Jasper Bulldogs really didn't have any kind of answer for in our first game. So the Carthage Bulldogs handled them pretty easy, and I know that Coach Surratt, they're going to be ready, because they're ready to get ready for a district run, and for them, it's Jerry's world, the Bizarro world, for a state title and they want to win that state title. They're not a team that wants to get to the state title game and just be happy that their team and their school and their history is based on getting to the championship and winning the championship. So let's talk about some of the key players that they have. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, they've got a lot of them. And when I say they've got a lot of players, and they can get the job done. They've got blue chippers. They've got wide receivers galore. So let's start with the quarterback, Jet Surratt, coach's kid, number 9. So I've had an opportunity to watch him 3 years ago as he came in. He was a backup, but he got in the game, in the state title game, and you could tell that the kid showed promise. So he's got 2 years under his belt now as a starter, and he can pass the football. I mean, he's technically sound. You would expect that from a coach's kid. He's technically sound, and he can do what he can throw the football off all platforms. So the Bulldogs in your secondary, you're going to have to be ready for that. Also, they've got wide receiver Blake Marleon. Okay, number 2, fast. He caught a pass against Tyler Chapel Hill and took it about 75 or 80 yards, and there was no catching him. Okay, they've also got another wide receiver. Cameron Henderson, and he's a blue. He's another blue chipper, and he can get the job done. Also, now they've got one kid, a blue chip running back, Kai Edwards, number 0, and he's. I'm telling you, this kid has been on the radar of scouts since the 6th or 7th grade, and he's big, he's fast, and he can play some football. So the Jasper Bulldogs, you're going to have to be ready. You're going to have to be ready for what you've got in store for you. And I will tell you right off of the bat, Coach, we're going to have to slow the ball game down. We can't go out there trying to throw bombs. We've got to slow the ball game down. Now, how do you do that? I would say that we need to take Big Kenyatte, take him from outside, go ahead and put him back at tight end where his natural collegiate position is going to be. Put him next to Dean on the right side. Let's get out of the spread and all of that stuff. And let's play some smash mouth football. We're going to have to slow the ball game down. We had Peyton Brooks that was out last week, and we held him back. So let's put Peyton in the backfield, and let's do that. Let's run some screen plays, some draws plays, because we cannot afford to go up to Carthage in a hostile environment, and you know that they're going to be fired up, and they're going to be ready to play some football because they want to get that momentum going into their district run, and they don't really care who the opponent is. They just know that it's going to be the Jasper Bulldogs. They're going to be ready to play. So if we go up there, if we don't hold on to the football, and we're throwing interceptions, and we're trying to go 3 and out, and all of the penalties and all that stuff has to go, or we will get ran out of the stadium, and it will be embarrassing. Now, I believe that the Jasper Bulldogs have what it takes to go up and make it a competitive game. And if we stick to a good, definite game plan of slowing the football game down, that's when it'll happen. If we do not do that, I'm here to tell you that it's not going to end well for the Bulldogs. They're going to be physical, and we also got to keep in mind they're going to be physical, and we've got a big district game coming up to start the district the next week. So we want to get some good momentum off. We don't want to go into the district being that losing 2 games in a row. We don't want to go in losing 2 games in a row and going into the district with a record of 2 wins and 3 losses. Now, for those of you out there who may question what I'm saying about, well, that was a preseason, and I was just getting ready for district. Well, you are what your record says you are. If you're a 2-3 ball club, you're a 2-3 ball club. And going into the district run, if you're looking for that to say, well, when we get to district, we're going to straighten it out, you're going to be facing some formidable foes that know you. It's not like you play in Tyler Chapel Hill who didn't really know you. Or like Carthage, when we played Carthage several years back, you're going to be playing Weststone Star. You're going to be playing Hampshire Finette. You're going to be playing Silsby. Teams that know you, they know what you're about. They know exactly what you're about. So if you're thinking that hey, man, that stuff that happened in the preseason doesn't matter, it has a big effect on what's going to go on, because you're going to continue to play. You're going to continue to play exactly how you've been playing. That's what your MO is. That's how football works. You don't just all of a sudden get to the district race and all of a sudden now we're just going to be we're a running team now. Doesn't work like that. We're going to continue to try to be a passing team because that's what we've been doing. That's what we've been doing. So we've got to try to get it together. We've got to slow the ball game down. Now, offensively, I think that this is one of those games where our quarterback, Isaiah, you got to make some plays this week, young man. You got to make some plays. We're going to need an O-line to dig in. O-line, D-line, we got to dig in, be ready to play football. Be ready to play some football and get physical with the Carthage Bulldogs. Okay? So that's where we're at. So, until next time, we're going to come back tomorrow and we're going to break it down a little bit farther and get really into the game with Carthage. And we're also going to take a little look forward of what we're going to probably need to do to be ready for our district run. And remember, district seating is very important. It's very important. You go in and you come in as the bottom seed, you're going to play a top seed when you go into the first round of the playoffs. So we need to get a running game established, be ready to play some football, fans. Let's get ready to travel and support the Dogs. Till next time, this is Alan with D9J Sports. Definitely out.